The Apple Vision Pro has been out for over a year now, and I was really excited when it dropped. I did not get it when it dropped because it was expensive, and I just didn't know what it was actually about up until I did the demo in the Apple Store, and I was like, ah, this is what it actually is. And it is one of those things where if you haven't tried it and actually experienced it, you actually don't know what it is. I think it's slept on. I think it's still a lot of, let's say, flaws, and it's clunky and heavy and expensive, but does all the good things way up for that. And I had a friend, shout out to Gordon, for letting me borrow this for over a month now. So the Apple Vision Pro, it comes in this kind of like clunky case. I think it's way too big. And there is other bags that I came across that is way more convenient than this that you can use for traveling. Because when I was traveling, I was like, I already travel with so much gear. Like, how can I fit this? This is like a, you put 2 straps on it. It's almost a backpack itself. But as you open it, you have the Apple Vision Pro. And talking about the design aspect, it is really nice, like compared to any of the other, let's say, XR, VR headsets that I've seen. And there is a lot of straps you can get as well that makes it more comfortable to wear. I'll talk about that in a minute. And you have this protective case, pops out like this. And here you have it, the Apple Vision Pro in this flesh. You can actually pop up this one as well. You can have different molds that fits your face better. You have a fan that goes on top here. You have the on button, the menu button, you have the crown that you can navigate with, but it also decides how immersed you want to be, if you want to be fully AR or fully VR. And then you have the cameras and the sensors in front here that you barely see. And then we obviously got to talk about the battery. This is probably a VR or mixed reality headset has had a separate battery. That is the only way of powering this thing. And it obviously makes sense to not put it on here because it's already so heavy and big. So to be able to power this powerful of device, you would need this battery. And that obviously makes sense, but is not super convenient because obviously you want to just put on this and call it a day. It connects through a little power here and it just clicks like this. You just have a fast USB charging and it does charge really fast. But if I've seen people complaining, is definitely the battery is not convenient. I don't really mind it too much just because I feel like this is a stationary device and you're not supposed to just run around in the city with this. This is not what it's supposed to be. And I feel like the gimmick of wearing the Apple Vision Pro out in public, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't or you're not allowed to, but it did create like somewhat a stigma around the Apple Vision Pro. And the only time I've been wearing this in public, it's been on airport and planes. And to talk about that, to have this thing on a flight is incredible. To be able to have your whole workstation or watch something in the biggest format you could possibly do in an airplane and not really be bothered by anyone around you. Yes, you do maybe look like a fucking kook, but totally worth it. I flew with this in business class once, which was obviously totally fine because you have kind of your privacy, but I also did an economy flight with this on. I was a little more hesitate just because you're kind of close to people and people probably making fun of you, but you just putting this on and just blocking out the haters. And with this being said, I usually use this to mirror my MacBook M4 Max fully stacked up, and it's a powerhouse and I do most of my work off that computer. And the way this connects to my MacBook is incredible. It's actually so seamless that when you take this on and look at your computer and it's close enough, it actually shows up if you want to connect to it or not. With that being said, you need to be connected to the Apple ID on both devices for those to talk to each other. So if you want to use this on somebody else's computer or vice versa, then you probably have to sign off your Apple ID. So as we know, Apple is probably the world's greatest to build their ecosystem and to keep you in the ecosystem. So connecting a phone to this, computer, iPad, anything, you have to be signed on the right Apple ID. But again, my biggest use case for this has been to mirror my MacBook, and the fact that you can mirror your MacBook, get a huge screen, and you can also use the actual software and hardware from the Apple Vision Pro at the same time. So you can have your DaVinci editing and you can also have all your other apps from the Apple Vision floating around that screen. So you're not tied to either or, you can do both, which is incredible. I've been posting wearing this on my Instagram as well, and a lot of people have been asking if it's good enough to edit in. And yes, 100%. The screen in this is probably the best one I have ever seen. I've not tried every headset out there, but the resolution in the screen is incredible. So it's no problem editing. And the fact that you can have 3 different options of standard, wide, and super wide, you can decide on your interface when you're editing. And I find myself scale and move that screen back and forth a lot, which is super easy as well. So when I actually want to watch something when I'm editing and get a better feel of it, I'm basically just making the biggest screen I can, and I feel like fully immersed in what I'm editing. And when I want to focus on my timeline, I just scale that up as much as possible. So it's one of those things that, like, bigger is not always better. Sometimes I just want to have an IMAX screen in front of me and I put it super far back and super big. And sometimes I just find myself having a normal screen almost in front of me. The fact that you can be so close to it without doing this into a screen, and you can sit in the same position unbothered, and you can move your screen around. I find that super helpful. And to talk about the actual user experience with the Vision OS, I think is incredible. Like, the eye tracking, when I first tried it, it just didn't make sense. Like, how does this thing know what I'm looking at? But the fact that you don't even have to look at your hands when you click something, you just have to look at it and then pinch your fingers. Anyone that I have showed this device to, they're obviously clicking like this because that's the natural way of doing it. When you actually get the flow of it, you get way more relaxed with it and it makes more sense. If you have this on for the majority of the day, you do move your hands a little bit and you move your head as well. So it's not as relaxed as when you're on just on the computer. And we have to talk about the immersive video. The immersive video is probably single-handedly the thing that got me into this. And as I've been very AR, VR push forward for a lot of years, as I've been doing AR exhibitions, I film a lot of memories on my X4, the Insta360, and I can put them in these devices and relive some of my moments. I just like new ways of experiencing things. And on the Apple TV Plus, you do have an immersive video category, and some of the content is just incredible. Like, one of my favorite ones, there's a Submerged, and I have never seen anything like it. Like, it was truly mind-blowing when first time I saw it. I was like putting this headset on Ava, on all my friends, was like, you gotta see this. And it's fully 3D. I feel like it's how 3D always wanted to be. And it's just haven't fully been like that in movies or the 3D TVs. It just never caught on. But the immersive video on this, I want to personally make a lot of things for this. I would love to go out and film concerts or documentaries or even podcasts in immersive video. I feel like this is how 3D actually wanted to be. The 3D TVs, the 3D on the theaters, it just never really got there. And this is what 3D should be. These are actually filmed on a Blackmagic immersive camera, which is supposedly hit the market this year somewhere, and is gonna retail for around $30,000. And it's not really a consumer-friendly product, but you have other ways of recording spatial video, which is the iPhone 15 or 16, and you can actually record it with the Apple Vision Pro. The Apple Vision Pro has a wider field of view when you record the spatial video. The iPhone is okay, but you can definitely see the difference between things that is filmed with an iPhone and a $30,000 Blackmagic immersive camera. And the Weeknd has a music video. Some of that is actually filmed on an iPhone as well. And you have a Sirius, which is Arctic surfing and a bull rider. Shout out to Erik Botner and Fredrikke. And it was actually really random because I didn't watch it before yesterday. And suddenly I saw my friends up north in Norway in fully immersive video. Metallica released their whole concert in this. It still seems like the Apple team is pushing for immersive video, which is really dope. If you're working in the Apple team, holla at your boy. I would love to help out, do some crazy immersive stuff. I'm right here. As you may be seen in the commercial, this device is not really something you will wear on your kid's birthday and record your memories, even though I would love to rewatch my memories in immersive video in this thing when my kids grow up. And one thing to point out, they also have like a slackline documentary, and the feeling of height, like actual being high up in this, it actually feels high. Like actually talking about it now, I'm sweating in my palms. So, and obviously the thing with immersive video, you're fully immersed into what you're watching. And I think that is something that we are lacking now because we're doing things at the same time and we're watching YouTube and movies and we're still on the phone. Obviously when we're at the movies, we are fully immersed somewhat, but when you're in this, you're fully there. You can see the sweat actually dripping down and you feel like you're actually there. And again, I don't think everything should be immersive video. I just think it's a place for it, especially Apple also have like a sports demo that you maybe will see if you do this demo in the Apple store, and you have like LeBron dunking in your face and you're like sitting courtside, and those things I would fully pay for. And you can actually watch F1 in this where you have a track in front of you, seeing how the course is and seeing the cars in real time actually driving while you're actually seeing the broadcast in front of you. And all these things are obviously pushing this forward, and hopefully this will be smaller and less clunky and cheaper to experience in these things. But now it's kind of just from that 1%. And you've probably seen the headlines that Apple is discontinuing the production of the Apple Vision Pro. And that is apparently true because they're not selling as many as they wanted to. But it's not discontinuing the actual Apple Vision Pro. It's just stopping the production of making more of these. That's where the interesting part comes in, and the big question is, are they making a new one? There's obviously a lot of rumors, but are they gonna make a Pro? Are they gonna make a cheaper one that is not a Pro? Are they making an Air? What is gonna be Apple? Tell me, I wanna know. But in my opinion, it would totally make sense to make something that is lighter and less bulky, that it maybe has less features. If they were to make another one of these that is smaller, that can only technically be for mirroring your Mac, I would fully buy it. I think like that use case, if I just had like some small fast glasses that I just put on and I can just mirror my MacBook like nothing, I think I would pay for that. But if you're gonna compress that amount of technology into something like this, well, it kind of looks like this. But you got to remember, technology is moving super fast, and this is probably the biggest and the most expensive this technology will ever be. We also have to talk about the apps. The Shaper 3D app is incredible. Not that I have used it that much, but it is an industry standard software to make product. So it's more like a product developing app, and you can also pair more of these so you can be seeing the same thing from the other side of the world, and you can actually model in Shaper 3D with your hands, which is kind of crazy. You also have the Psyche app, which you can get immersed into a digital and physical artist. They're basically focusing on bridging the digital and the physical, especially in fashion. And the video profiles are even filmed in spatial video. I think it's really cool. Again, not crazy amount of stuff to do. I wish I had 10 different artists that I can scroll through, but it takes a lot to produce something really, really good for this. One thing is that this thing does not have a YouTube app. It's probably a Google, Apple discussion, so it kind of makes sense, but it is kind of a shame that it doesn't have an actual official YouTube app. It doesn't have a TikTok app actually, but it doesn't have a YouTube app. And when you have one of these, you do want to watch a lot of YouTube. You do have some third-party apps that does offer to watch YouTube, and the Safari app, you can also watch YouTube, but it's obviously the interface that is maybe not like fully optimal to just scroll through YouTube the way you want to in something like this. So we have yet to see if that is something that is coming. Games in this, I have not tried too much. You can connect actually to the Xbox Live, and I guess now you can also do it with the PlayStation. I've yet to try it because I would love to do with the controller instead of using my hands on all these interactive games. You know, it gets a little like Nintendo Wii-ish, where you just have to like use your body and head and arms and everything way more than you want to when you play in a game. So that's probably why I haven't done it too much, because I just haven't really found the game like I really fuck with. I wish it was more AR games that were interacting with the environments, like Yadu AR, which is on phone, where you can basically interact with your surroundings, but I yet to see it in Apple Vision Pro. I also seen some demos that has that feature in a sense, but I've yet to try it. You also have a photo editing app. It's nothing that you probably wouldn't do on your phone or on your computer, but the fact that you can do it with your hands is pretty fun. And on top of that, to do a photo shoot wearing the Apple Vision Pro while you're shooting with tethered through your Mac and get the photo right in front of you, seeing fully immersed. But for certain shoot, I can see that this is kind of a big use case as well. And I actually did another video that is also out that you can check out, that it's basically my test of doing exactly that. Another thing with spatial video is that you now can make photos into spatial photos using the actual photo app on the Apple Vision Pro, which I think is really fun because I took family photos, old photos of my dad, other things that I, let's say, want to be immersed in, and I made them into 3D. And I think it really works. And there's also a third-party app that you can make your videos into spatial video, any video, which is kind of crazy. It does cost above some certain trial, but if that is something you want to do, maybe you want to make a spatial video YouTube channel, something that I would love to do, but you can use that app to basically make it into spatial. I'm just really happy that Apple is going in this direction. Hopefully, they keep going in that direction as well. Well, Apple is not famous to go halfway, and this is definitely not a halfway product. When it comes to accessories, apparently there's a couple straps you can get that makes this way more comfortable, and you can be able to wear it pretty much all day, apparently. But I don't really mind how it is as well, and I do wear it for hours at a time as well. With that being said, I do get like red around my face wearing this, so I probably should get another strap if I'm planning on continue or buying this myself. When it comes to the details, I think everything is super well done. It feels super premium when you open it, when you wear it, when you touch it. I do like the actual design and the finishing touches of this product. I feel like it kind of makes sense that this is a $4,000 product. Just comparing this to the Oculus, this is the Oculus 2 and not the 3. And I think the 3 is really good. I heard great reviews of it. You know, if you're gonna compare these, yes, this is probably a $3,000 difference. But for Apple, it wouldn't make sense to make something like this that is like pretty much all plastic. If you're Apple, you make it like this, and they did. So for something that looks like this and performs like this, well, it makes sense. This is a product that is really hard to review just because you can't really show what this thing is unless you have it on your head. And that's why I'm kind of encouraging all my friends to just go to the Apple Store, book the demo. If you don't live in the US, it may be a little harder, but it is fully worth just trying. Something that I have tapped into, but I want to talk about is the multitasking aspect. Again, you can have, I don't know what the limit is, but you can have insane amount of windows open. It's not that that is the goal, but to be able to pop back in and pop out of different windows and be fully immersed and place them wherever they want. And when you place a window in a room, you walk out and you walk in again, and that window is exactly where you left it off. If you want to move it, you literally just look at it and then you drag it in front of you again. So if you're watching something and you walk from the kitchen over to the living room, you can just move these screens like nothing. Again, that was a thing that I was really intrigued by because again, I love AR and I've been doing it through my phone for like many years, and to be able to actually see it in front of me like this, to have probably the best tracking that I have ever seen, is truly amazing. And I feel like the most popular videos around this thing is basically things that is negative, and I feel like people want it to fail. People are not really open for it. So I think a lot of people that would probably enjoy this product is not going all the way to actually test it or buy one. I use it so much now, and for me to do, for example, photo editing, video editing, especially doing the selection, if I'm shooting a lot of photos on a shoot, doing the selection through this, it's been something that I've been like looking forward to. I was like, I can't wait to just put this on, actually choosing the photos that I'm gonna go on with. You also have Polycam for Apple Vision Pro, which is one of my favorite 3D scanning apps. You can scan pretty much every product. You can scan rooms, you can scan objects, and you can like basically walk into them, or you can just place them in a room. And I think it's really dope to be able to, for example, have a full room in your hands and to be able to see something in front of you that doesn't exist. I think is really dope. And I think Polycam did a great job to actually integrate this into the Apple Vision Pro. It's not too many other 3D scanning apps that have done that. I feel like this is kind of like an obvious thing you should have for the Apple Vision Pro. One thing that they also have is a spatial video social media. I don't know who made it. It's not really big. I feel like people are not really uploading too much, but it is a funny concept that you can actually scroll bunch of people's spatial video. And sometimes I actually kind of forget that I'm wearing the Apple Vision Pro. It's not that like it's like so comfortable that I like forget it, but the cameras are really good when it's good light around. There's also like a Netflix for spatial video. People have been going really hard on the content there. And we also have to talk about the FaceTime feature, because FaceTime with this is obviously hilarious. It only works if the other person has the Apple Vision Pro. And what you do is basically to scan your face and you make a digital avatar, because it's kind of crazy to be able to see the other person in 3D in front of you. It's not like 100% there, but it's pretty close. And the fact that they pushed for this feature, that they made a feature for that for FaceTime, I think is incredible. And I also think these things are kind of what Apple does the best. And compared to Meta, like Oculus, are not really fully integrated in their ecosystem. They don't really have these apps that is, let's say, the normal apps like, you know, messages, email, like all these things that you use on the daily. So I feel like Oculus is more like for fun and games, and like they do have like the Meta Horizon, which I tried a couple of times, and it's a weird place. I'm like, don't really feel attached to it. Obviously the big question, is it worth the price tag? And I feel like for how much I use it, yes. I feel like the amount of stuff that I've been getting done just because of this thing, mainly again because of the mirroring for my MacBook, I feel like it's worth it for me. I would say if it was $1,000 less, it would have kind of been a no-brainer for me. I also kind of want to be, let's say, the part of the progression into immersive video like I talked about. So final verdict, I love this thing. I really do. I can't wait to see what Apple is next, even though I sometimes feel that the product are a little overpriced, but it's one of those things where like, just take my money. At the end of the day, if you deliver a premium product like the Apple Vision Pro, like the iPhone, like the Mac, well, yeah, it's like, I need it though.